Lizzie Sitmouth, Chapter 5. I was sometimes a very, very bad girl at Mum and Sam's place. I'd been a good girl with my first stepdad. They weren't going to catch me out again. Sam couldn't fool me. He'd turn out to be mean and scary like my first stepdad. Maybe he'd be even worse. So if Sam did the cooking, I wouldn't eat any of it, even if it was one of my favourites like pizza. If Sam chose a video, I'd turn my chair around and wouldn't watch it, even when it was Little Women or Black Beauty or The Secret Garden. If Sam bought us ice creams when we were out, I wouldn't eat mine, not even when it was one of those big whippy ice creams with strawberry sauce and a chocolate flake. My mouth watered, but I didn't even have one lick. The ice cream melted and dripped down inside my sleeve. Honestly, Lizzie, why'd you have to be so silly? Said Mum, sighing as she threw my ice cream into the gutter. Sam sighed too. I was sure he was going to shout at me this time, but he didn't. He asked me if I'd like to go over and see Great Gran again. Oh, Dad, do we have to? Said Rory. I thought we only saw Great Gran on Sundays. We can't play properly at Great Gran's, there's nothing to do, said Jake. This is a special invitation for Lizzie, said Sam. Shall I drive you over there after tea? I didn't know what to do. I wanted to go and see Great Gran and her dolls very, very much, but I didn't want Sam to take me. I looked at Mum. I can't drive Sam's car, Lizzie, she said. I still looked at her. I can't come too. I've got to stay here and keep an eye on Rory and Jake, said Mum. I looked at Mum. I looked at Sam. Come in, Lizzie, said Sam. I didn't say anything. I just gave a little nod. Sam had to strap me into the seatbelt in the back of the car. Comfy, he said. I gave another teeny-weeny jerk of my head. Sam played music as we drove, silly old children's songs about pink toothbrushes and mice with dogs and circus elephants, and Sam sang them all. Feel free to join in, he said. I didn't sing, but my dangling feet did a little secret dance as Sam sang a song about a tiny house in a place with a very, very long, funny name. Sam took me into Great Gran's flat, but he didn't stay. He said he'd come back for me in an hour. She'll probably be bored in 10 minutes, said Great Gran. I wasn't the slightest bit bored. I had the most wonderful time ever. Great Gran let me go on another tour around her flat. I looked at the dolls on the shelves, the dolls on chairs, the dolls on the windowsills, the dolls in their nightclothes ready for bed. Then I looked hopefully at Great Gran. She looked back at me. What? She said. Her eyes were gleaming as brightly as the dolls. I swallowed. My voice sounded rusty when I used it. Could I see the dolls in the trunk? I whispered. Speak up, said Great Gran. And remember to say please. Please, could I see the dolls in the trunk? Please, I said so loudly that I nearly set the dolls on the shelves blinking. Certainly, said Great Gran. That's a very good girl. Come along then, you can help me get them out. She kept the trunks in the back of a built-in wardrobe. There were two, one on top of the other. I had to stand on tiptoe to reach the top one. Easy does it, said Great Gran. I went so easy, I felt I was in slow motion. The trunk was heavy. There seemed to be several dolls inside. When Great Gran lifted the lid, I saw them lying in a row, eyes shut. They looked as if they were fast asleep. You can wake them up, said Great Gran. I gently lifted a beautiful big doll with long blonde hair out of the trunk. She had a white nightie but no slippers on her pale china feet. Her tiny toenails were painted pink. One of her hands was missing, but I didn't mind a bit. She's beautiful, I whispered, cradling her carefully. That's Alice. I expect she's a little chilly in that thin nightgown. Perhaps you'd like to find her some clothes, said Great Gran. The second trunk was cramped with neatly folded outfits, party frocks, winter coats trimmed with fur, sailor suits, check pinafores, lace-edged underwear, black knitted stockings, and little boots with tiny pearl buttons. My hand hovered hopefully above the clothes. Go on, have a little sort through, but don't get them rumpled, said Great Gran. I sifted through the clothes with trembling fingers and found a pale blue smock dress with a white lace collar and a dark blue satin sash. Can she wear this one? I think that's actually Alex's favourite outfit, said Great Gran. I dressed Alice, moved her arms and legs very gently indeed. The blue sleeves were a little long for her, so the missing hand didn't show. She looked perfect. Then I woke Sophie and Charlotte and little Edward and weenie Clementine and got them all dressed up. There, don't they look smart? All ready for a party, said Great Gran. And she opened another box. There was a little blue and white doll's tea set inside. I thought we'd pretend the party fair, but Great Gran made a real pink rose-hip tea and opened a packet of tiny round ice biscuits that just fitted on the plates. We were still enjoying our party when Sam came to fetch me home. Have you enjoyed yourself, Lizzie? He asked. I didn't say anything, not to Sam, but I nodded so hard my head hurt. Then I kissed Great Gran goodbye on a powdery cheek. I whispered, please can I come again?